بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So inshallah, number one, next week inshallah we're going to start at 7 because Maghrib's a little earlier. So inshallah next week we're going to start at 7 inshallah. We're still in the chapter of the Shurut al-Salat. And all of this, last week we started the condition which was covering the odor, and we reached the section of the clothing. And we did the section about if a person had to pray with no clothing, and we stopped after the issue of khuyalaf al-thawb, clothes being, as we say, or the issue of isbal, dragging clothes out of arrogance. And then we did taswir, pictures, the issue of pictures. So if you have the PDF, we're on page 212 at the bottom. That's the next section, which is still under the same section. In this section, this is the mahdhurat al-salat, the things that are haram to do during the salat or wear, because we're in a section of clothing, right? Covering the odor. So we stopped last week with taswir wasti'maluhu, the issue of pictures and that whole issue of pictures. And it says using the pictures, which is connected to hanging pictures and things like that, and everything that we spoke about in that issue, which for real, that's an issue that deserves a deeper conversation about for more detail. But if we get stuck on that, we won't be able to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, but that's probably a separate conversation we need to have. So the next issue, the author, rahimahullah, he says, وَيَحْرُمُ اسْتِعْمَالُ مَنْسُوجٍ أَوْ مُمَوَّهٍ بِذَهَبٍ أَوْ فِضَّةٍ قَبْلَ اسْتِحَالَتِهِ. This is the issue of having gold or silver stitched in your clothes. When we talk about gold and silver, it's important, y'all. When we're talking about gold and silver, we're talking about real gold and real silver. We're not talking about the color gold. Everybody with me? It could be a watch, it's gold color. It's not real gold, right? We're talking about gold, real gold and real silver being stitched into clothing. This is haram for clothes to be stitched with gold or silver. Everybody with me? It says قبل استحالته. And this is before, assuming that a person, it says before it is completely transformed. Does anybody know what that means? Like, it's possible, just in simple terms, you can burn the gold off of a garment, right? Or you put the garment on some fire and it no longer looks like gold. You basically burn it off the garment. If you do that and you burn it off the garment, then there's no problem in the garment. Everybody with me? Before a person does the istihala and they burn it off the garment, then it's not allowed to wear. Now, these issues here are not restricted to the salat when it comes to some of these issues. This is in the salat and outside the salat for men wearing gold, some of them. Tayyib. Everybody with me? A lot of these issues are connected, something's connected to the clothing that we're wearing. All right? We're under the chapter or the section of covering the awrah, covering ourselves in the salat. Tayyib, where can we cover ourselves with anything? No, you can't cover yourself with just any old thing. What we cover ourselves with has to be permissible in Islam for us to use and cover ourselves with. So the first thing that we can't use, or that he mentions here, is something is stitched, or it says here dipped, or we might say, is dipped cool? Is dipped in gold and silver? Or what else? Is another word we use for dipped? Plated. That's what I was going to say. Plated. With real gold or real silver, not just the color. You can get thread as gold colored thread. It's not real gold. Everybody with me? Tayyib. He says, the next thing, وَثِيَابِ حَرِيرٍ أو ما هو أكثر ظهور على الذكور, or silk. Silk. Everybody with me? Silk for who? For men. Tayyib. This is a question. Is silk haram in Islam? Yes. No. Is silk haram? Some. Listen, is silk silk? Because what we'll do is we'll take something and we'll apply it to something else. I didn't say is it haram for men to wear silk. Silk. Is silk something in Islam that is just like haram? No. There sometimes silk can be used, and sometimes silk can't be used. Everybody clear? That's important because we're gonna say we might say, no, silk is haram. Silk is haram, y'all can't use silk. Well, no, not we can't. Well, the men can't use silk. What about the women? Well, the women can use silk. So how's it haram for women? Right? So we're not gonna say silk by itself. It depends on the usage. So we can say it depends. Instead of giving a blanket statement, we'll say it depends on who's using it, what it's being used for. In this case, that a person prays, a man prays, and this is for the men, that a man prays in silk clothes. Now, this is important, y'all. When we say silk clothes, they're talking about that the clothing that you have on, whether it's a thobe, you got a suit, whatever it is, it's 100% silk. That's for prohibition, 100% silk. No? You with me? It's possible clothing is mixed with cotton. It's 50% cotton, 50% polyester. It's 50% silk, 50% whatever. You with me? All right. We're not talking about 50% anything. The clothing that you're wearing is 100% silk. When you look at the tag, it says 100% silk. Everybody clear? That's the prohibition. That's where we're stopping at, that men cannot, that's not permissible for us to wear. 100% silk. The exceptions are going to come. If it's 100% silk, that's one thing. If it's not 100% silk, then what? He said, you still don't wear it. Yeah. There's some exceptions in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ of how much silk. And that's what's getting ready to come up. The exceptions for silk. Tayyib. He says, number one, thiyab and harir, where it says in the book, it says, similarly garments made predominantly of silk, also for that. Tayyib. It's not translated here. It's an issue before what's in the book. All right, if it's 100% silk, that's one issue. Haram for men. Everybody clear? In the salat and outside of the salat. Everybody clear? Tayyib. The next issue that's translated, which is, it says, وَمَا هُوَ أَكْثَرُ ظُهُورًا عَلَى الذُّكُورِ. It says it's dominantly silk, meaning you can look at the shirt or whatever it is that a person's wearing, and when you look at it, right? Because remember, y'all, we're talking about two separate issues. If it's 100% silk, that's one thing. If it's not 100% silk, that means it's mixed with another material. Clear? Everybody with me? If it's mixed with another material, it doesn't take the same ruling as the material that's 100% silk. Everybody clear? Tayyib. The first rule is if you're looking at it, just by looking at the garment, the material, the shirt, whatever it is, if when you look at it, what you see mostly is silk, what's seen, what's apparent is silk for the majority of the garment, that's what mostly pops out at everybody, then men can't wear that. Again, a person can look at a shirt, and when you look at it, it looks like it's all silk, even though It's really mixed. It might be mixed with what, Shay? It might be mixed. It might be cotton linen. I don't want to say the wrong thing. You mix silk with. You mix whatever it's mixed with. When you look at it, if what you see for the majority was mostly seen as silk, then we can't wear it. Men. Everybody clear? That's where it says made predominantly of silk are also forbidden for men. That's for men. Tayyib. It says, everybody clear? What's the last rule? Somebody just say the last rule. The two rules regarding silk right now, what are they? 100% pure silk, we can't wear. Men, not in the salat or outside of the salat. Tayyib, if it's mixed.
If it's predominantly silk, or if what is seen is predominantly silk.
Good. It's about what you see. The second issue is about what you see, not when you look at the tag. The tag says 60% silk, 40% polyester, right? But when you look at the shirt, or let's say cotton, something that might be easy to see, when you look at it, you see what was seen majority is silk. If what you see, if what's apparent is the majority of it is silk, then that takes the ruling of we can't wear it. Follow.
Why? You never touched on why. I know you probably don't want to dig into all that.
No, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to it, inshallah. We're going to get to it. Tayyib. He says, La idha stawaya. Not if. These rules don't apply if the piece of clothing is 50% silk, 50%. If it's 50-50, that's a separate rule. Everybody with me? We got three things. Either it's 100% silk, we're not wearing it. We can't wear it. Haram. Or it's not 100% silk. It's mixed with silk. This is for the men. It's mixed with silk, and sisters for your boys. It's mixed with silk, or for your husbands when you buy them some, you know what I'm saying? You buy them something. It's not 100% silk, but when you look at the item, what's seen from it is majority silk. Haram to wear. What if it's 50 and 50? That's not an issue. If it's 50-50, that's not an issue. We're going to get to his question about why. The quick answer of why is there are hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said we cannot wear silk except in these cases. So what did the author do? He extracted the cases and just put them in a list, basically. Everybody with me? It's different hadith. I have a couple of them in front of me just so we can know where they are. Some of them Sahih Muslim, Abu Dawood, right? Where it says Naha Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on the silk except for this. And that's what's coming up. Tayyib. So that rule doesn't apply if it's 50% silk and 50% something else. So right now, already, just right now, a lot of times we make mistakes in us explaining Islam, explaining rules, talking to people, because we bunch everything together. Right now, we got 3 separate issues just on silk. We're going to turn around and say, no, you can't wear silk. But what you're going to do with the hadith from the Prophet in Sahih Muslim, where he says the exceptions for wearing silk. How do we get to come down and say no? If the Prophet ﷺ gave us times or the amounts that are excused for men to wear silk, or garments that have silk in them. So the first time that's excluded is if the clothing is 50-50, 50% silk and 50% something else, right? Which is not the same as the one before it. It's not the same. 50-50 is 50-50. Everybody clear? It's possible when you look at the tag of a shirt or a suit or whatever it is, it's possible that it says 60% linen, 40% silk. What's the majority when you look at the tag? Linen. But when you look at the shirt, when you look at it, it looks like it's all silk, therefore we can't wear it.
Majority of it, so.
Even though the majority of it is linen, if you look at the tag, it's about the look. You with me? The second rule is about what you see. The first rule is the tag, 100% silk. La. The second rule is about what we see, not necessarily the tag. Everybody with me? The third rule goes back to the tag. It's 50-50, no problem. Further.
So what if it's 50-50, but that rule get overruled by the second rule if it appears to just be silk?
No, you can't mix the rule. 50-50 is 50-50. That's a rule by itself.
I'm saying, like, what if it appears, though, it's 50-50, like how you saying it's 60-40, it's 50-50, but it appears to be mostly silk. Like when you look at it, it's apparent that it's silk, but the tag say 50-50.
Remind me at the end. Remind me at the end, please. All right. Tayyib. That's the first one. Ida Stoya. Number two. These are the exceptions now. The exceptions for what? For men wearing silk. The exceptions for men wearing silk. Because our sisters, we don't have an issue with sisters wearing silk in Islam. Tayyib. It says, Oli Dhurura. It says, it's also permissible for many times of, it says dire need. Dire need. What's a dire need? Another word for dire need. Necessity. What would be a necessity? Skin condition. Tell you, we're gonna get to that. Another necessity. Just you don't have no clothes. The only thing you have is a garment that's silk. That's the only thing you have just to cover yourself. There's nothing else there to even cover yourself with.
Like we mentioned earlier in other principles, slot may be getting ready to go out, and that's the only thing.
That's the only thing you have. Dire need, dire necessity. We're not going to say, for example, the only thing we have is this silk garment that somebody in my family bought that they didn't know we can't wear silk, but they bought it for me, so it just sits there, right? One day, something having salat about to go out, you had nothing. Now you're going to miss the time of the salat and say, no, I could put that on, but it's silk. No, it's dire necessity. I'm going to put that on and pray with it out of necessity so that the salat doesn't go out. I don't miss the salat time. Tayyib. It says, oh, hikkatin, oh, maradin, oh, harabin, oh, hashwin. Tayyib. Altogether, he mentions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It mentions 10 exceptions. 10 exceptions for a man to wear silk or something that has silk. The first one, it says idastoya, right? Which is if they're equal. Number 2, in dire need, right? If you have it, number 3, it says in dire. Number 3, when afflicted, it says with scabies. Scabies? I don't know what that is. What's a scabie? Oh, I never even knew what that was. And that's the first time I read it. I didn't even read that. I understood it was an itch, right? Some type of skin. Scabies? Yeah. Can you say scabies? No. All right. Scabies. Scabies. Tayyib. Oh, maradin. It says, or other illness, some type of sickness that, of course, is going to be related to the skin. Tayyib. It says here, oh, harbin, during combat, in war, times of war, that it's okay to wear silk for men in times of war. Why? Easy to get around there. Yes.
According to the book that I'm looking at, it says it's the only where during the time of war was accepted was like laceration caused by like slinging somebody, like slinging like a weapon. Because I'm slung, like in full and like when it drags across your shoulder, kind of hurts.
Is that what it says?
That's according to the book.
It says slinging, but I mean, silk is kind of tender, so I mean, you swing the sword on it, it's going to
Tayyib.
stop it.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying one of the explanations that's used is that silk in itself, it's about, and I'm not saying that's negating, I'm saying another explanation is presentation. It's about presentation, right? What does silk generally represent? High status, huh? A whole army comes through wearing silk, it gives off a look. That's one of the explanations that the ulama use. طيب. It says, or silk is used as embroidery. We know embroidery. Embroidery, like stitching around the thobe. You might have like something on your collar, design on your collar, design here, design on the sleeve and stuff like that. Everybody with me? I'm sure the sisters know. Brothers, everybody know embroidery? Sometimes you see the thobes in the store and they got like stitching right here. It's an all black thobe and it's like some special stuff here, embroidery, right? When it comes to embroidery and bordering, because some of these are bordering, collar, when it comes to these things, it's a special rule for embroidery. It says here, 4-finger width of stitching or less. This much silk of embroidery or less. This big or less, which means 3 fingers or 2 fingers is fine. 2 fingers on the edge. 2 fingers on the edge of the garment. And this edge part here is made of silk. What's the most? 4 or less. Not 4 inches. Not 4 inches. 4 fingers or less. So if I got 3 fingers on the sleeve, am I good? 2 fingers, 1, 6. طيب. That's based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It says, "Lama rawa Muslim in Sahih Muslim an Umar anna Nabiy sallallahu alaihi wasallam naha an libs al-harir." He prohibited us from wearing silk. This is one of the hadiths. He said, "Illa mawdi' usba'in," except for the amount of 2 fingers in the hadith. Oh, thalatha, that much, right? Oh, arba. That's the hadith, one of the hadiths used that gives us the exception of how much can be used or how much can be worn by a man. Everybody clear? Where's the hadith? Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim, hadith in Sahih Muslim. There are other hadith. It says another hadith in Abu Dawood, li Abi Dawood, Naha anil harir. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited us from wearing silk illa hakadha wa hakadha isba'in or thalatha or arba'in. He prevented us from wearing silk except like this: 2 fingers, 3 fingers, or 4 fingers. That amount. Anything more than that, right? And this is where it comes in this section here. It's going to mention a bunch of different borders. But in the book, it says, as embroidery 4-finger width of stitching or less, right? Now that embroidery doesn't have to be on the edge. That embroidery can be right here also. It could be anywhere, right? The next issue is using silk. It says, riqa'in, using silk to stitch a tear. You use silk to stitch up a tear, a hole in a shirt or something like that. Everybody clear? Tayyib, that's where it says as patching, right? And the next one is lamna tajib. Lamna tajib is as the border. But this one here is, what does it say? Bordering is fine. That's fine. What's bordering on your clothes, though? What is the border of your clothes? The edges, like the edges of your clothes, the edge of the clothes. How much silk can be on the edge, though? What's your limit? 4 fingers worth, according to the Prophet. Or 4 fingers or less. Tayyib. That's on the edge, and then it says specifically this one here. It might be around the collar. All of those places, it has to be 4 fingers or less. 4 fingers or less, according to those hadith in Sahih Muslim, and hadith in Abu Dawood. طيب. Say it again. Stitching, no, you get a hole in your shirt and the person stitches it up using silk, or they patch it up with some silk. That's one thing. Bordering is that they put it on the clothes. It might be for decoration. I'm sorry, that's page 213 at the top on the PDF. If you're on the PDF, page 213 at the top. Are we clear? Those are the 10 places. And even though I think the book only mentioned 9, the 10 places, because the book didn't mention the first issue, which was 50-50. You're going to remind me to go back. طيب. He says after that, مكروهات الثياب. What's disliked? It says in the book, yellow garments in clothes dyed with saffron or disliked for men. طيب. I don't even know if that's right. Saffron? Is that right? Saffron?
It's a color for some people. It's an herb or a seafood, but
Jade.
it's also a color.
Let me ask you this. Is it allowed? Sis, is that it? Saffron?
Saffron?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think it's the colors like
It's a herb.
the monks wear from like the Buddhists. They wear like a color.
This is a question. Is it permissible to wear yellow? And is it permissible for Muslims to wear yellow? Some people, sometimes it's translated, huh? How you gonna go with yes? Some people say it's not, you can't wear yellow. Hadith says almost like this. It's important that the yellow that's mentioned in the za'far these are herbs that I'm just saying the thobe or the garment is dyed with the herb. You dye it with the herb, not just the color yellow. That is dyed with this herb, and that herb turns it yellow. Everybody clear? It's not the same as buying a yellow shirt. You with me? Everybody with me? What we do is we take stuff and we just apply it. So now we're going to take this herb and apply it to every yellow shirt. So now we can't wear yellow shirts. Right? It's this herb, both of them. This one is muzaffar, which is, they only mention one, but they do the same thing. It's another herb, muzaffar. They both, and this is only for men. If the garment is dyed from these herbs, then it's disliked for men to wear them. Disliked. Not haram, disliked. It's a difference. If it's disliked, then what does that mean for us? Huh?
Well, it's not a sin if you do it, but it's better if you leave it off.
Yes. It's not a sin for if somebody does it, but it's definitely better to stay away from it. We shouldn't be taking the idea, y'all, like, oh, it's not haram, it's only disliked. You with me? Not only disliked. Anything that's disliked or hated, we should try to stay away from it. You with me? Stay away from it. But if somebody does it, you know the ruling. Okay, that's disliked. The question is, maybe they don't know it's disliked. Maybe they using it out of necessity. Maybe. And if the bottom line, they say, I just like it, then that's something that's makruh that you shouldn't be doing anyway. But I'm not going to say it's haram or sin. Tayyib. The next condition, ashart al-thalith, which is 3. How many conditions we did so far? No. Sorry. How many conditions for the salat we did? This is number 4? La. First condition for the salat that we did. Yeah, the first condition.
The first condition was
Yes.
exposed for too long.
La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Asma. That means, sisters, what's the first condition for the salat that we did? Wudu. You sure? Don't guess. It should be in your notes. Further.
Oh, no. Definition of salat.
It's mushkila. Time.
Samuel, we did the signs of puberty, age of discernment, age of discernment, and then time of prayer must begin. And then spiritual and physical purification.
The first one was time, right? Remember we had the whole discussion. Some books say 6 conditions, some books say 9 conditions. Why do some books say 6 conditions and some books say 9 conditions? Because it's 3 conditions that you need for every worship. 3 conditions that have to be there for every worship. So the books that say it's 9 conditions for the salat, they add those 3. And some say, we already know those 3 conditions apply, so let's just make them 6. All right? We already did time. We spoke about the times of the salat, right? In detail. Tahara, which is wudu and all of that, we say that that's the chapter before the salat. We didn't cover that. That's a whole section by itself before the salat, right? After we did time, we did the odor, covering the odor, right? Everybody with me? We finished that. We move into the next condition now, which is ijtinab an-najasat. Stand away from, I think this is on page 214 maybe. 214, at the bottom of 214. Stand away from najasa. Najasa. In the book leaves it translated as najasa. Filth, 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 filth. Huh? Everybody cool with filth? No? Give me another word for filth. Impurity, impure, dirty. Everybody clear? Them words are not accurate. None of that's accurate. Those are words that we use in English for something that's dirty. When we talk about najasa, it has to be Islamically filthy. What does Islam consider to be filthy to the point that I can't pray like that? Urine, feces, blood, minced blood. All right.
Any blood? Or just
We're gonna get to that, but let's just use the easy ones so that we clear. First things first. It says najasa. You're gonna read another book. It's gonna say filth, or it's gonna say impure. Filth and impure means Islamically filthy and Islamically impure. Well, what makes something Islamically filthy or Islamically impure? It's so bad that I can't pray with these type of clothes, with this on my clothes, which is not what we're used to when it comes to my clothes being dirty. Just because my clothes are dirty in our terms doesn't mean my clothes are impure Islamically. Everybody get that? Meaning, because I wore the same clothes for 4 days straight, that doesn't mean that I have urine on my clothes. Everybody clear? Listen, y'all, I don't want y'all to mix nothing up. That doesn't mean I might not have a smell to me. A smell coming from me does not mean I can't pray. Should I wash up and clean myself before I pray? I should. If I really smell, I should clean myself up. But because I have an odor coming from me, does that mean I can't pray? No. So don't mix. But you stink. Okay. How many times? Nah, shake. I'm just saying, how many times you pray next to somebody that had a smell to them? What do you say? And it doesn't mean necessarily. They could have been coming from the gym. It could have just been a long day at work. Some people sweat more than others. A smell, huh? Culture-wise, it could be something going on, right? They might have a condition. A smell doesn't equal can't pray. Don't mix the two. Filthy Islamically, meaning something's on me that prevents me from being able to pray like that. Tayyib, like what? Tayyib, urine. Well, why would I have urine on myself? A person didn't make a stinja after they used the bathroom. They didn't clean themselves properly. Muslims supposed to clean ourselves after we use the bathroom every time. With what? What do we clean ourselves with? Water, bare minimum. Tissue, bare minimum. Or we could use tissue and water. Or you're going to read some books, it's going to say stones. They didn't always have toilet paper and tissue. Regardless of what it is, the Muslims always clean ourselves after we use the bathroom. And if you don't clean yourself after you use the bathroom, that means that more than likely, you're going to have some Islamically what we call filth on your clothing, even if it's your underclothes. If you have filth on your clothes, that means you did not meet this requirement, this condition to pray. So if I want to pray and I have those things on my clothes, what do I have to do? Change my clothes. I don't have any other clothes to wear. Wash the clothes that you wash them. Or if it's your shoes. Everybody with me? Tayyib. That's so we know what najasa is, because it's not translated. We need to know that filth is not just because you're dirty. Your clothes dirty, so I can't pray. We're about to pray. I'm dirty, Sheikh. I'm gonna just wait till I get home. By the time you get home, it's gonna be the next salat. Yeah, but I'm dirty. I'm all dirty. I don't want to pray like this. I'm dirty. Yeah, but dirty doesn't mean you have an excuse. Dirty in our terms doesn't give us the excuse not to pray on time. The filth that we're talking about is, I went to somebody's house, a dog, man, splashed on me, urine got on me. I was in the joint yesterday, and I'm not saying it was urine, but I'm just saying. I knocked over the stinger bottle all over me. The what's it called? You know, the pot. Spilled the whole joint on me. Now, if that's urine, it's water. It's water. But I'm saying, if it's something like that that's urine, then it's splat. Then I got urine on my clothes. I got to know that. That's for everybody to know. This is not just for men. This is for men and women. It's for everybody to know that about your clothing. It's your salat. It's not my salat. It's your salat. You have to make sure that you don't have anything of filth on you every time you go to the bathroom. There is no, I'm in a rush, so I didn't make wudu. I didn't make a stinja. There is none of that. Not for us. Why? Because we're always thinking about the next prayer. I can't do that because when the next prayer comes, how I'm going to pray? It's standard for the Muslim. The Muslim is standard. We have to make a stinja, a stijmar, whether I'm using water, I'm using tissue, I'm using water and tissue. I have to clean myself after I pray. Tayyib. He says here, فَمَنْ حَمَلَ نَجَاسَةً لَا يُعْفَ عَنْهَا أو لاقاها بثوب أو بدنه لم تصح صلاته. This is the first issue. Whoever, let me ask y'all this. It says, whoever physically carries najasa, who would be physically carrying urine? How you say it? A colostomy bag. Tayyib. I would sah. Somebody has a bag, right? Let's say, I think we all agree that's an exception. Let's not use the exception. I'm not saying you're wrong, but let's use a person has no issue. Why would you be carrying around urine? Yes. Further. Literally carrying it. Hold on. Traveling?
Like if you're in the car, no bathroom around, something like that.
Jade. What?
You put a bathroom in a bottle or something.
Tayyib. You're in the car, you're traveling, there's no bathroom around you, urinate in a bottle. Then what? So you could probably dispose of it. Sah? That ain't crazy, is it? That's not be crazy, y'all. So hey, that might happen. And depending on where you are, let's just say you got a real water bottle, you put the top on tight and do what? You put it in your pocket. You don't want nobody to see you walking around with it. right? Is that possible? طيب. يحمل najat, that means you're carrying it. You can't pray like that. You got the water bottle in your pocket. You never came past a bathroom. You shy to pull it out and throw it in the trash. There's people looking. You like, I'm gonna just pray with this John. Allah. Somebody might do that, right? Somebody might do that. You can't do that. طيب. It's in the container. You're carrying it. La, not while you're praying. You better off taking it off, walking around, playing it off, drop, not leave it there. I'm saying you might put it somewhere, go ahead and pray and come back. If I know this rule, and I'm stuck in a situation like that, I'm not praying with it in my pocket. I'm gonna find somewhere to dip, stash it till I'm done, go pray, go back up, grab it so I can dispose of it the right way. You see what I'm saying? It's possible you get hired for a job, you got to take a urine test, right? They give you a little container. They might say whatever, right? You go in there, you make wudu, you got the container. It's a bunch of people outside. You throw it in your pocket, and next thing you know, it's time to pray. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to give a real live situation. The person might have it on them. What, Sheikh? What? Huh? Well, what?
Because I got to take urine tests at my job, and I tell them before I take the urine test that I can't, that I got to clean myself after I give you the urine, I got to pray. And they let me in.
No. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I go in there and I use the bathroom. Then I come, it's in a container. Usually they give you like something to cover it with, like, right? Some people shy, they don't want people to see, you know what I'm saying? They slide it in their pocket trying to, be low. And then next thing you know, somebody, well, so how they come? You pray yet? No, let's pray. You got to be conscious. All right. That's what it means where it says a person is physically carrying najasa. If a person prayed like that with it in their pocket, salat is not valid. They got to pray over. Tayyib. This is the part of, it says, staying away from the Islamic filth. Stay away. My clothing, my body, where I'm praying at, everything has to be free from Islamic filth. What Islam considers to be filthy. Tayyib. He says, حمل نجاسة لا يعفى عنها. As long as that najasa is an amount that is not excused. Is a certain amount of najasa, filth, that's excused. There's a certain amount of filth on our bodies that is excused. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Meaning, just so we clear, when you use the bathroom, right, we make istinja and istijmar. We use water, we use toilet paper, maybe we use both. You go somewhere, and it's possible, y'all, there's no water. I don't know what the sisters, I know the brothers. You go in the bathroom, you go in the joint, you go grab some tissue, then you go to the sink, wet the tissue, then go back in. Right? You take too long, somebody else going before you. Cool. You go to turn on the water, there's no water in the sink. There's no water where you at. So that means you're just using tissue. It's istijmar. Right? Cool. When you clean yourself with the toilet paper, with the tissue, are you 100% sure that you've cleaned yourself 100% where there is no trace of anything? You can't. Everybody clear? There's no way to tell that you 100% cleaned yourself, 100% nothing remains. There's no way to determine that, right? Everybody, we clear? So Islamically, we are all excused if there is something remaining because it's impossible to really tell. But what do? We put forth as much effort as we can to make sure we clean, and then we say we leave and we make wudu like we're supposed to do. Everybody clear? There's no way to tell 100%. So that even if it was 1%, that 1% Islam excuses us from.
This is without water.
With water, without water. Even if you use water, there's no way we have the ability to 100% know I got everything. All we do is we basically doing like, we do like an eye test. We look, we see, we look, we see, we look, we see, right? Until we're comfortable, I've cleaned myself good enough and we go. Because we do that, does that mean there's absolutely nothing remaining? No. But If there was anything remaining, Islam excuses that. That's why it says, oh, he didn't translate that. Well, it's not translated, but it says, La yufanha. It's some portion that is excused, and then it's a portion that's not excused, right? So what we're talking about is you're carrying enough, just for example, a urine sample. That's not excusable. That's not excusable. If a person prayed like that, then they would have to pray over. The salat would not be valid. Or that while they were praying, or I'm sorry, the urine is on their clothes. The first issue is the urine is in a water bottle. Maybe I'm traveling, I took a urine sample. It's not on me, it's not on my clothes, but I'm carrying it. Can't pray like that. If it's on my clothes, I can't pray like that. Brothers, urinating standing up, urinating when you stand up, is very, 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 very possible that what happens? The urine splashes on your clothes. And if the urine splashes on your clothes, what does that mean? You can't pray in them clothes like that. You got to be careful, brothers. You got to be careful standing and urinating. We're Muslims. Everything goes back to worship. Everything goes back to worship. If that urine gets on my clothes, how am I going to pray the next salat in these clothes? Tayyib. He says if it gets on your clothes or if it's on your body. So it could be in the sample where it's not on my clothes, but I'm carrying it. It could be on my clothes or it can be on my body if I don't make istinja or any other situation where the urine or the feces gets on my body. Tayyib. He says, when tayyina ardan najisatan. This is the next issue. So those three situations, if a person prayed like that, the salat is not valid, they have to pray over. Tayyib. Now he moves to the place we're praying at. The place that we're praying is urine, even though we could pray anywhere, outside, right? We spoke about things last week, right? You ready to pray? It's a known spot where people go to the bathroom, right? You shouldn't pray there, right? You go to pray in a place and it looks like it's urine there, but there's nowhere else to pray. So what does the prayer he says? He says, basically, these two issues, basically, you cover the place where the urine is. You say, for example, you go to pray in the parking lot, and the only place to pray, it looks like it's urine. That's urine there. In this case, he says that a person comes, oh, it is very translated down here. It says he put a layer of clean earth upon ground that is stained with najasa. Let's just say basically a person took some, what do you call that stuff? Some dirt mulch, something like that, some dirt mulch. They put it down on top of the urine on the ground, and then they prayed. So they didn't want to have to pray. Oh, I thought you was pointing over there, huh? No, that's a separate issue. That's different. That's different. Listen. Don't mix the issue. I didn't say you couldn't use a rug. I didn't say you couldn't use water. I'm saying this. This is what the author's saying. I take and I put dirt on top of where the urine is. And then I pray. Did I pray on the urine? No. I put a layer between my body and the urine. He says in that case, it's disliked to do that, but the salat is valid. Even though you shouldn't have did that. It was a better way. Maybe it was a better way to do it. Maybe, right? He says, or farashaha tahiran, or he laid something over top of it. It could have been a rug, but under the rug is that urine. Are they directly on the urine? It's a layer between them. In that case, it's disliked to do that. It's disliked to do that, but the salat is valid. Clear? Fadlan.
What's the difference between having a prayer rug and laying it on some najasa and praying and having najasa on your clothes?
Good. Najasa on your clothes means, and they make a separation in the issue that's coming. If it's on my clothes, it's as if I'm carrying it with me everywhere I go. If it's on the ground, it's separate from me. I don't have anything on my clothes, nothing on my body. I'm not carrying it in the najasa. It's on the ground. And even though it's on the ground, I didn't touch it. I put something on top between myself and it.
Right, but it wouldn't make the prayer rug impure.
La. And that's the issue of the transfer of najis. And it's dry or is it wet? And it's a difference. But that's in, yeah, the earlier section. طيب. Everybody clear? طيب. The next issue وإن كانت بالطرف المسلة متصلا صحت إن لم ينجره بمشيه. I think this is 215, y'all. Oh, maybe it's 216. 216 at the bottom? Oh, 217. I don't even have that. 216 at the top. You pray on the big prayer rug. The prayer rug, you know, some of the prayer rugs have like, it's like a three-person rug, right? And then some of a 5-person rug. Let's just say you're praying on the far right of the rug, and it is urine on the far left of the rug. Everybody with me? The rug holds 5 people or even 3 people, right? You praying on the far right of the rug, and there's some urine on the rug on the far left of the rug. Everybody clear? The urine's on the rug, right? But it's on the far left and you're on the far right. I can't see how they translate in the book because I don't have a page. But it's that if it's on the edge of what you're praying on, as long as 216, the salat in that case is valid as long as when you stand up, there's nothing that's connected to you. I don't know how they translated that. But the point is that none of the issues that we're talking about, the najasa, the urine, is connected to us. We're not carrying it. It's not on our clothing. It's not on our bodies. If we intentionally carrying it, like we said, a urine sample, that's a problem. Or a water bottle when I'm traveling, that's a problem if I'm intentionally carrying it. In a case like this, they say as long as it's not connected to you, meaning when you stand up from praying, that rug doesn't drag with you. A person might say, well, why would that happen? This is what we got to remember when we talk about these issues. These issues are not restricted to us, the way we dress, the way we pray in Philadelphia. It's a world of Muslims. This applies anywhere we go in the world. People go certain places in the world, they don't have rugs, just random rugs to throw around like we do, right? Some people, they wear a lot of clothing, and they might take a piece of their clothing that they have on, unwrap it. It's so much, they unwrap it and lay it on the ground while it's still on, it's their clothing. They still wearing it so they can pray on it. You with me? We can't get stuck thinking, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody do that here where we live? Maybe. It's a world of Muslims. Everything doesn't just apply on the East Coast of America and Philadelphia.
If the jasa is on one side of the carpet in the prayer area, but it's not near where one prays, then the prayer is valid. This is because he did not come into directly into contact with the jasa.
Right. As long as it's not connected to him. Is that clear? Fabba.
When you say disconnect, right? Isn't that the same as...
You said disc, what I said?
As long as it's not connected to you, it's disconnected.
Yes.
Okay, so isn't that the same as the hadith of the Prophet
Sorry.
when he took off his sandals, he just sat to the side. You know, when the issue came to him, he just took the sandals off the sandals aside.
Is what the same?
Because it was he was wearing the sandals. So that's the same as like a clothes. So he just took them off, so it wasn't connected to him. You get what I'm saying? Same thing.
You're saying that when he took them off, he's disconnecting his clothes. Yeah, yes. These are issues, and remember, these are issues that, of course, we're not getting into the back and forth between the ulama about that. But that's one of the hadiths that's used to argue back and forth in some of these issues. I would say that the way it's explained here, not every issue, but I say this. If a person didn't know what to do in some of these issues, then you always take the safe route. So for example, it's a rug, it's a 3-man rug or a 4-person rug or 5-person rug. You know that it's urine on that side of the rug because of whatever situation happened. Wet or dry. You trying to figure out what we did in class and I forgot what they said. I think you could pray on it. What do? Just don't use the rug. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not comfortable worshiping, do what's safe. No problem if you don't pray on the rug. No problem. Don't say you have to use the rug, but it's najas on. Yeah, but the book said it's not like that. Go with safe. Until I figure that out, I haven't figured that out. I'm gonna just pray over here, inshallah, and I'm safe. I'll go home, figure it out, look at my notes like that.
Why we want to suggest the urine, right? These rules still take place for a younger child, like under the age of 8 or whatever, 7, 6, kids stuff. Pull up from there.
Urine?
Yeah. So you got a child, you got urine on, whatever. You don't know, whatever you do know, but you run up, jump in your lap, you got urine in, like a little spot on you, whatever. Oh damn, sure. I gotta take all this off. This rule still applies for.
Let me ask you this. As of now, right now, just what do you think? I just want to know what you think.
What I think?
You, yeah.
I don't think that.
No, I want. If you no, not what you think. What would you do if that was your situation right now?
Like in the match?
Yes.
I mean, if you got on my hoodie, I'm gonna take my hoodie off.
Cool.
If I got a T-shirt on, I ain't got nothing on underneath.
Okay.
Pray. I'm having to pray.
Right. The point is this: whenever, and I just want to get, Sheikh Abdul Majid, I feel the law used to always tell us. Sheikh Abdul Majid al-Subayl, he used to always tell us, al-ahwat, be safe. It's your worship. Be safe. If you got some doubt, you might pray. You might go home and pray again. It might not sit with you. Be safe. But to answer your question, Allah. Allah. This is the last one for the night. ومن رأى عليه نجاسة بعد صلاته وجهل كونها فيها لم يعد. In this case, this is when you don't have to pray again. You don't have to pray again in this case. After you prayed, after you finish the salat, you're sitting there making dhikr, and you look down and you notice something wet. What's that? Find out it's urine. Wherever you at, y'all, wherever. I can't paint a whole picture. Sisters. Wherever you at, you notice that it's najas on your clothes after the salat, right? That's number one. You notice it was on your clothes when? After the salat, right? That's number one. It was after the salat. Number two, and you did not know that it was on your clothing during the salat. It's not like you knew it was on your clothes while you was praying. You didn't know it was on your clothes while you were praying. After the salat, you noticed it. Did you know it was, you prayed 4 rak'ah? Did you know it was urine on your clothes while you were praying? No. Once you finish praying, you notice something. If that's the case, and then it comes out that it's najas, it's urine or something like that, you don't have to pray over. Everybody clear? When it's after the salat, I'm finished. Number two, I did not know that it was on my clothes during the prayer. Everybody clear? In that case, I don't have to pray over. Everybody with me?
Now, for that situation, you just take some water and put it on there.
For what situation?
The situation he said. The situation you were just talking about. Remember
Oh.
the way you just said that?
Yeah, hold up, Sheikh. Yeah, but I don't want to mix the issues.
All right.
I'm gonna stop with this one because they kind of go together, but you got to separate them. If you finish the prayer and you did not know it was on your clothes during the prayer, you don't have to pray over. Everybody clear? طيب. This is the last issue. وإن علم أنها كانت فيها. But if you know, you know that your clothing had urine on it before you prayed. You knew it was there, right? This happened at 6 o'clock, so you knew it was there. At Maghrib, you went and prayed in them same clothes. But if you knew it was there, but you did what? You forgot it was there, and you prayed like that, then you got to do what? You got to pray over. Everybody get it? They're not the same issue. One of them, I finished praying, and I didn't know it was there while I was praying. I got to pray over. I don't have to pray over. I'm sorry. I don't have to pray over. The other issue, I knew it was there, but I forgot it was there, and then I went and prayed. I got to pray over. طيب. Everybody clear? طيب. We stop there, inshallah. طيب, we clear? Inshallah. طيب, we stop there, inshallah. It's important, y'all, not to mix, as we say, apples and oranges. All issues, they look the same, but they're not the same. One small thing changes the issue, and we can't just bunch everything together and give everything the same ruling. So it's important to separate the issues. And in order to separate them, you have to pay attention to wording. Wording is very important. It's not the same. As we say, or a lot of people say, it's clear what you mean. It's clear what you mean. What you mean is clear, just like that. No, they're not the same, as we say. It's not the same. So it's real important to distinguish the issues one from another so that we don't mix up the rulings on different things. Inshallah, we can stop there. I'm listening, Sheikh. Fadl. We got to pray.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about the 50-50 thing.
Oh.
If it's does that movie override if it was apparent as the silk?
Somebody will call you there.
Allah